I'd never been directly involved with cancer until it came to my door. I wasn't really given very long to live. But once I came out of hospital and they'd done all the technical treatment that I required, I was quite shocked at how poor the support outside of the hospital environment actually was. And I really had to dig around and search. Nobody came to me, and it was so hard work. And at the time, it was hard enough actually staying alive, let alone trying to find the support that I really needed. It was just so difficult. And I was truly shocked. I was going back to clinic and I saw these poor people, you know, getting worse and worse every week and having to worry about finances and having to worry about relationships and whether they could keep their job, how long their job was going to be open, whether they'd be able to keep their house and their family together, and things like that were just truly shocking to me. In fact, actually, my prognosis was poor, and I wasn't given very long to live. And I said to my wife, well, actually, I'm going to make some noise about this terrible thing that, in this day and age, the support is so shabby here. I decided, initially I started talking about it because I'm not a shy guy, and everywhere I went I was talking about this lack of support. And I guess that turned a few heads after a few months, and I was invited to do my first charity talk. I'd never really done public speaking before. And I did my first talk, and that led to more invitations. And everywhere I went, actually, after the conference was done, there was a queue of people, patients generally, that actually wanted to talk to me, and they wanted to share their own experience, And my wife came on a couple of occasions, and she said to me, is it always like this? I said, actually, it is. And she also was shocked the number of people that found the same problem that I found. But my health was and still is very, very unreliable, and I've always been a professional guy, and I hated making arrangements where I wasn't going to be well enough to actually turn up. And of course, as I got more known, the anticipation was raised, and then the talks were bigger, and it became difficult for me to be reliable to turn up and do those. So, friends of mine that were in the know about internet, which certainly wasn't me at the time, they suggested, why don't I write a blog and start communicating regularly through the internet, which was quite foreign, really, actually. I'd never done any of that sort of all my communication was face-to-face. That's what I'd ever done in my work. So to have a blog, I mean, a friend of mine started the simplest possible blog that you could. And it was quite weird sitting in my study writing, and then I pressed the button and I thought, this is going into cyberspace. Where is this going? Who's actually going to see this thing? And it was quite weird because after a few months, it started to get legs, in fact.
The website, when did that start?
Okay, so I had a simple website. This one's been going. The principle of Chris's Cancer Community has been going for now nearly 4 years, just short 4 years. Wow. And we started on the simplest blog that we could find. And slowly it took off. You know, it takes a long time to gain readership. But now, I've won when are we, 2014, so I won UK Health Blogger of the Year.
Wow.
Which was really probably, I've had some achievements in this time, but that was probably one of the biggest ones, considering that I'd never even written anything since I was 15. So that was, to be up with my peers and to be the best health blogger of the year in the UK.
Amazing.
was a big thing. And actually things really took off from there. I got a sponsor, Christina, lovely Christina. She approached me out of the blue and she said she liked my work, and she helps me with a bit of marketing. She helped me jazz up the site, so I'm now chrisscancерcommunity.com, and it's helped spread out the news of our work right across the world now. We're read in every country in the world, which is it's a fantastic thing. See, I have a unique perspective to a lot of people out there. I don't just write about cancer; I'm actually experiencing it too. So as a writer and as a speaker, I'm actually speaking as well through my own personal experience. So, I sit frequently in clinics. I have treatment, I'm on medication, and that continues, unfortunately, and it will continue for the rest of my days. So I'm not just talking about things that I read, I'm talking about actually things that I see and things that I experience. So I have the inside track, actually, on what's going on. So I think I have a unique perspective. And I suppose if you put into the mix the people that I work with, in terms of, the organisations that I work with. So I work with and do bits for a lot of large health organisations in this country. And, I sit on the inside of a lot of them, a lot of people I know, and I have a lot of knowledge coming out from the inside, which I'm allowed to share, with my patients. So I suppose my blog has become a hub, if you like, for sharing, good, effective information and current. I call that my bus. And I imagine it's like a bus as you get on and you get off at different stages of your journey, right? So we have a lot of people getting on the site when they're first diagnosed, and when they're finding things tough, they come on the site. But when they get to a stage, maybe they're too involved in their own treatment, they don't have time to look on the site, so they'll come away. But so we're always, people are getting on and off, always new people getting on and older people getting off. And even sometimes when people have finished treatment, they get back on again because they want to see what is happening there. So we've got people on and off. For some reason, sort of some weeks are really very, very popular, and then other weeks not so. But then things pick up in the middle of the week. It's a bonkers thing. But actually, the social media thing as a whole, the website is my hub, as I explained earlier. But then now with Twitter and Facebook, actually, that's really accelerated now. So we have conversations on all those platforms during the whole week. So I try to write a piece that asks questions, and obviously there are my views, and those are my views. But I'd like to open up the discussion throughout the week of what other people feel and what other people's experiences are. So the object is that if we all share experience, we all share our own experience, we can all learn something from that.
How do you sort of plan out your blogs?
I get contacted during the weeks. I like guest blogs, and the last post that I posted was a guest blog because I like, as it's a community site, hence Chris's Cancer Community. It's for everyone, and all I do really is I facilitate the work that goes on there. I'm holding the reins, if you like, but that site is as much for you or for anybody else as it is for me. All I try and do is make sure that the information that goes on there is appropriate, for the audience that I have. In terms of decisions making for the blog, that's quite an interesting one, actually, because my week now is taken up with either I'm doing talking or I'm visiting somewhere or I'm in hospital myself. So, or I'm on the internet where I'm getting contacted daily by people from around the world who want to know things, bits of different information where I can signpost people to other people that I know. So there's not really a day goes by that I'm not involved in cancer in some form or another. And actually, I don't really have a pre-planned thing for what has happened next week. I have a very open mind for what I'm going to write for next Sunday's blog, because something may well come up today. For example, I'm sitting here and I'm already thinking about different things that you've mentioned that I might write about. I'm having a meeting later, as you know, and something may come from that. All my work's confidential, so there are no names unless required, unless people say that's fine. So, but the things will just spring to my mind, and they'll all be current, of course, because they're going on. They're things that I'm seeing right now, daily, exactly.
How do you feel as someone that you are going through the whole thing as cancer still, and you have been for, is it 10, 15 years?
8 years.
8 years, exactly. So, but you've still been, for someone that you have been going through it, you've gone through chemo and every other treatment you can think of, you've had to go through it. Does it get hard sometimes and you think, I don't want to talk about cancer? Or it does. Look, I can't kid you. It doesn't. It doesn't get hard. I can't say it doesn't get hard. It does get hard.
And I think I made a choice a few years ago. It became obvious when I became so ill, it became obvious that I was never going to work again. And as you well know, Claire, your mind, you know, whatever's happened to you physically, what cancer does to you, in most cases, hopefully, your mind is still quite active. And I've always had a business mind, and I saw the issues around cancer support as a business problem that I wanted to do my best to solve. So in the initial stages, my prognosis was poor, as I mentioned earlier, so I wasn't given very long to live. So it was never in my mind as a long-term plan. You know, it was just to do as much as I could in the short space of time.
Yeah.
But as medical progress has been very kind to me, you know, I'm still sitting here. So I have to make now a little bit of a longer-term plan. My personal worry was that cancer was going to dominate my life, and I was going to struggle to get my own health right while I was doing the work that I'm doing. But I realised that personally I'm never going to be away from cancer, because that's, you know, I'm at the hospital once, 2-3 times every month for the rest of my days, right? So it is part of me. So I thought, actually, what do I know something about now? You know, my old work is gone. My old work is history. I don't know anything about that anymore. But what I do know is actually about cancer, and I do know how to communicate with people. For me personally, cancer's there every day, and strangely enough, it's become my passion. You know, it's become my raison d'etre now. But not so much for me, although obviously I enjoy what I do, and because I couldn't do it with passion if I didn't enjoy it. But it is my passion, and I've actually found something where I'm able to help people in their life. You know, I've had a long life of business, and I've been able to help myself in that. But actually now I've found something where I didn't know it, but actually I can have a big impact in people's lives. So that actually is an incredible feeling, and I've come too far now with this work. You know, there's a lot of people I'm in contact with around the world, and it's just growing and growing and growing now. Yeah, it's getting bigger and bigger and bigger.
You're getting invited around the world now.
Yeah. I mean, but that's you know, that just shows me that what I'm doing is right. That people need it, and so I can't really stop it. But talking about cancer as that, I think the bus, as we called it earlier, it's there 24/7, right? So people can either talk or not talk, and there's a time for that they want to talk, right? So it's there. When people want to comment on Twitter or they want to catch me on Facebook, they can. I'm not in their faces. I'm not blasting, you know, cancer out day in and day out. I try to do it very measured, because I try to do it the way I would want to receive it, basically. And actually, the difficulty with cancer support is, of course, we all need different things, right? You know, what do you mean by cancer support? You know, if I tell you cancer support, you might need something totally different to what I need. So what I try and do is put, you know, we signpost to people. We've got lots of friends of Chris's cancer community. We've got a very tight community on there. We all help each other. So cancer support is different things to different people, and required at different times, of course. That's the difficulty.
People are listening and they want to go and have a look at the website.
chrisscancercommunity.com.
He does come up the top.
Yeah, it's number one. Comes up number one. Except Macmillan, they they promote their post, so it sits above mine. Can you believe that? They pay to sit above my community post. Hey, how about that?
Oh, God.
It truly is, and it's a truly independent community. There's no agenda on here, right? You know, I haven't got a pension scheme, whether it's successful or not. You know, I don't get paid. There's no advertising here. And so I don't want it to be any different to what it currently is. And all I really want to do is just reach more people. So the fact now that we're being invited regularly now to participate in podcasts in Canada, in America, and Australia, and actually I'd like to do personal visits now, personal speaking tours in those countries, to also open their worlds up over there, because they're all they've got their own different issues too, but much of it's common. and it's not about money, and it's not, it's expertise really, which I need help with. It's not even the financial angle really.
Yeah. I mean, what's kind of support? I mean, we want to send you off to America.
Definitely.
America is.
I know there are some Americans listening, so that would be great.
Yeah, if there's anybody who wants someone to come and speak and someone who really does know what he's talking about. And I have been so lucky to come and see you speak.
Thank you.
But yeah, so anyone that's out there in America that needs some speakers, have someone from Croydon.
Yeah. South London accent as well.
South London, yeah. So do have a look on there, and thank you so much for coming.
Thanks a lot, Claire, for inviting me to talk about it. It really is such an important subject, and if there's anyone out there that hasn't done that, wants to get in touch, please feel free, because it's all anonymous if you like it that way.